just saying. I'm yours truly, MemeMichelle. And oh my God, we're going to have an amazing show today. I got this one right here. Oh my goodness.
We already fighting.
Oh, fooling with your family, Lord Jesus. We got the camera lady. She's family.
And she don't want to act right.
Don't want to. But anyway, thank you, squad, for tuning in. I want y'all to get involved today. If you have any questions, if you have any opinions, if you've been through some things, and it happens every week, and that's okay. We're going to wait for her to turn the phone down. But I know it's going to happen because the sound doesn't go down until you get started. So there's no drink of the day because she's a health fanatic, and she does not drink because, as you can see, she is in recovery, people. First of all, do you have the book? If you don't have the book, you'll have the opportunity to win one. And if you don't win one, you can always go to Amazon. Where else is the book?
You can get it at the Women's Health and Fitness Center. We have it stocked there, and you can get it on Amazon and my website, www.felicialee.org.
All right, now let me introduce y'all to her, ladies and gentlemen. She is the owner of the Women's Health and Fitness Center. She is a bodybuilding champion. She is an author, and she has seen, oh my God, you have seen her on the Health is Wealth segment. Let me just say that. Please, y'all, let me introduce you to Felicia Sexton, baby. If you hear me, if everything's good, give me the hand clap of praise. I mean, we need this. We need the stand y'all. Hearts, likes, whatever. Are they tuning in, Tina? Are they there?
People are tuning in.
All right. Congratulations. I'm going to call her Snooki, y'all. We're going to get real intimate.
We're going to be real intimate.
Congratulations, Snooki.
Thank you.
Word on the street is you got a workbook coming out to go with your book.
I do, because you know what? The book, Mimi, and this is my, let me say this while we go. This is my sister niece. And that goes from way back. But yeah, I do have a workbook coming out because I realized it was important that not only did they read the book, but they work through it and they use it for their own lives. Okay. Right? So it's really important.
So for those of the people who don't know, can you break down what the book is all about?
So from recovery to discovery, my journey through addiction is my life. It is a book that was really difficult to write, never wanted to write it. It is about my life through my addiction. But you know, for me, I didn't want to focus a lot on my past, but more so on where God has taken me to. Everybody knows the disease of addiction is horrible. You know, we go to lows and lows, but when you come up out of it, God places you in a higher place.
Come on now.
Someone said, look those arms.
yes, baby. Because see, in order to know her glory, you must first know her story.
Yeah, you gotta know my story.
So, in this book, you talk about hiding from your truth. Even after being clean over 20 years plus, you still deal with the struggle of forgiving yourself.
Let me tell you something. Just because God takes away the desire to drink and drug does not mean immediately He has removed all those insecurities, all those insanity thoughts, and all those nights that you sit up thinking you're not good enough. I still, today, with 25 years clean next week.
Come on now.
I still struggle with all the things I did in my past.
Okay.
And sometimes my past will haunt me in my present.
Okay.
And so I have to work really hard to stand in my truth, because if I don't tell the truth on a daily basis about where I am, when I'm in a bad place, or all the things I've done, then I'm not living my truth.
All right. Because what you said in the book is I can no longer hide from my truth, because my truth is what set me free. I was free from cocaine addiction, but I hadn't totally freed myself from the disappointments and regrets of my past.
Man, let me tell you something. When you have drugged as long as I did, and did some of the things that I've done, so I need you to get the book. And I had to realize on a daily basis that all those things I wanted to do growing up, all those people I thought I wanted to be, I could never be.
Right.
But the good news is that God allows you to transform yourself and be somebody new.
Amen.
But I had to accept the fact that I would not be that lawyer that I wanted to be.
Okay, because I never knew that.
I wanted to be a lawyer so bad. I guess because I did
known that because she talk a lot and she's very argumentative.
And I did so much, I could have, represented myself had I ever got caught, But what God did was He sent me to paralegal school.
I remember that.
That's as close as I could get, because you can't go back and pick up where you left off at. That's what most people that have any type of disease, of any type of addiction, once God cleans you up, we're not always able to go back and be that person we wanted to be. You got to reinvent yourself and be a new you.
Well, I'm going to read y'all something. It said, if I had the opportunity for a do-over, I'm not sure if I would take it. Don't get me wrong, being entangled in a web of addiction was hard, but it has blessed me to evolve into the woman I am. I can encourage another woman or man battling with any form of addiction because I know what it feels like. It feels like being controlled by something other than self or God. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to have something call your name and you try to drown out the sound, but it gets louder and louder. I know how it feels to be paranoid and mentally unstable. This can apply to someone who is addicted to food, shopping, sex, porn, gambling, etc. In reality, it is all the same ending effect. A lack of balance and life not your own. Yes, I have been clean, thank God, all these years, but the residue of my past always haunted me.
Woo, you know, I got chills and I write that.
You wrote that.
When the residue of my past is in my present. Every day I wake up, people don't understand what it feels like to know that I'm always going to be what they call a dope fiend.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
always going to be, I wear a jacket of a recovering addict every day. Do you know how that feels to know that no matter what I do, I've been saved and God has lifted me up, but it don't matter. Because if I don't accept the fact that I am a stumped down dope fiend, tomorrow I can go use.
All right.
And then my life will start all over again.
So the first thing is accepting.
Acceptance of whatever you are. Food, drugs, like we said, alcohol, people pleasing, too much church, too much trying to take care of your kids, too much wanting to be over there with them, knowing you should be over there, too much shopping,
too much
gossiping. You know, you on the phone talking about what they did, and yet you're not taking care of your responsibility. Too much of anything is too much.
Because I read this, it says, in the 12-step program of Narcotics Anonymous, we learned that making an amends is different from an apology. I said, you talk about the 12 steps to becoming clean and sober, and is amends the first step?
Well, I got to make amends. That's not the first step.
Okay.
The first step tells me that I'm powerless and my life has become unmanageable. I tell people all the time that they write that on the refrigerator, write it on your checkbook, or write that down in whatever area you're struggling with. You know, my life was unmanageable because of this thing, this drug, or in anybody's cases, food, or every time you go in the store, your life is unmanageable because your bills are behind, but yet you shopping. What else do you need? So I have to accept on a daily basis that my life have become unmanageable.
So Ted, for the people who don't know, what is the difference between an amends and an apology?
So you hear your kids say all the time, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. How many times do you hear that in a relationship? I'm sorry. But I gotta really, first of all, forgive me and make an amends and apology to me before I can do it to you. And sometimes when you make amends, it might be me writing it down. It doesn't necessarily mean I have to come to
the
you,
people, okay?
Right? Because I may have stole all your jewelry out there. Come on, I'm saying, I might have wrecked your car, or I may have slept with your husband, or did some things that are Tony, and I stepped to you to try to make an amends, and you be like,
get right.
Baby, they be calling laws.
So you have to make an amends with yourself. And I'm glad you said that, because the next question I had was, you said that you had to have a little talk with Jesus to give yourself the courage to talk to your inner child, little Felicia, a.k.a. I call Snooki.
Right.
Talk about that.
Man, you know what? The most difficult thing for me in this was, the most difficult thing for me was to apologize to myself.
Okay.
Because I had to apologize to that little girl that had no business wrapping her body with cocaine and weed and getting on the plane. I had to make amends and apologize to her for not seeing all of my ideas and thoughts and my dreams through. I had to apologize for her to be around people that were toting guns and pulling guns and shooting people, and you standing there waiting for them to clean the body up and you move on. I had to apologize for her for having my house with drugs all over. I had to apologize to her because I can visually see her standing there going, what are we doing?
Your inner self, that's like the Holy Spirit is telling you this is wrong. But you battling with what's going on, so you're not even listening to her.
You're not even
and
yourself.
You numbed her.
I had to push her really deep down. And it was like I had to say, okay, boo, I'm going to let you out one day, but right now I got to deal with these demons. And they are truly demons.
I'm going to tell you what she said, y'all. Just give me a second. Let me make sure I got the right pages, because I did my homework. I've read the book twice.
I had to read it 3 times because I was like, oh Lord, did I really say all this?
Saying thumbs up.
Thank you.
Y'all have any questions? Well, we'll get to that. She said, Lil Felicia, this is a conversation that I have avoided for years. Let me begin by saying I love you very much. There was a time that I didn't love you. I didn't love us. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the things I put you through my activity of addiction. I'm sorry for carrying the label of recovering dope fiend for the remainder of our lives. We found ourselves in some really sticky situations, and only by the grace of God that we're not sitting in a jail cell, or buried 6 feet deep. I am shocked that I am in a healthy state of mind to have a conversation with you. I used to talk about myself, how I allowed us to arrive at this place being a dope fiend. Today I know that it was part of our process. I can't go back or change anything that took place yesterday. I can take the experiences and use them as a stepping stone to continue climbing a mountain of success. Little Felicia, our lives may have started rocky, but our Father has smoothed out the rocks and created a solid foundation for us to stand on. Before I dive any deeper into our story, I had to make a final amends with the beautiful little girl who is now evolved into a phenomenal woman. You better go.
Those words sometimes, it chokes me up because, what we do to ourselves.
Yeah.
We forget that, the God that we serve didn't plan any of this.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said before, I know in my heart of hearts, if I had to do this over again, I wouldn't change a thing.
Amen.
I would go right back and do the exact same thing.
Because I got that in my list. I got that in my list.
I would.
Because I'm going to go to it and then we'll come back.
Yeah.
Do you think, because let me just explain. Not only was she an addict, but she was a major dealer.
Yeah.
And she made a whole lot of money. Oh, I might not even want to get to that. Let's just go and we'll come back to it. Okay, for those who may not know, this amazing woman is my auntie. And I have to tell you that I was in shock when I read that as a child, she was needy and insecure. And let me tell you why I'm in shock, because she's always been passionate, always been outgoing. Anything she wanted to do, she achieved, even in that point in her life. So to read that she was insecure and that she didn't think much of herself and that she didn't think she was pretty, it threw me off because I didn't know that person. I didn't know who that person was. So tell me about the life-changing day, the journey to curiosity and hanging with the big boys.
Well, what had happened was, and let me say this before I move on. The gentleman in the book that I was with that was, 30 odd years older than I was, and I was with all these years, I don't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame him because I was going to be addicted to something. I have an addictive personality.
Okay.
So it was going to be something. It just so happened that I was hanging out in my mom's friend's juke joint, and Big Money Hank walked in, and I knew, before I knew, that he was loaded with money.
Got you.
I knew that. And
you could say about looking at him.
And then watched and listened to a few conversations, and I decided I was going to get with him. And when I stepped to him, he called me a little girl. I was like, all right, one day you're going to be looking for me.
Okay.
And sure enough, that's what happened. And I got engrossed in that lifestyle. And let me say this. We could, back in the day, could turn dope on to turn it off. Mm-hmm. They could, but I couldn't.
Okay.
See, because we knew when the DA was going to come in. We knew when the grand jury was coming in. We knew when not to sell. I'm really telling y'all a lot of stuff. We knew when not to sell, when not to have any dope on the premises and all that. But I was already hooked. Mm-hmm. They could stop and turn it on and off. I couldn't do that.
I read that.
And so I knew then that I had a problem, right?
Okay.
But I was so shielded in this group of people that they wouldn't let nothing happen to me. And the money was so plentiful that there was nothing I didn't want.
Because let me explain something. We live, okay, you know when you growing up and you live in the hood, but you don't know you're poor? Okay, that was us.
Right.
And we had a nice house. Our grandmother and grandfather took really good care of us because, okay, we all grew up in the same house. My granddaddy still live in the same house we grew up in.
Right,
it
right.
was me, all my aunties, my uncles, my cousins, my
forth.
grandparents, and my mom and my sister. And when she moved out, she moved. I don't want to say the street,
Right,
okay,
right.
but it was the hood too. And you could tell it was a little bit more hood than where we grew up because we didn't think we was in the hood.
Right.
And probably back then it really wasn't. It probably was middle class neighborhood.
It was.
But
it was.
to see the people hanging outside and you could see people drinking, but when you stepped into her house, honey, it's like some of the houses you see in River Oaks. She had phones and TVs and everything. I'm like, this is different. And she would tell me stuff like, I know I'm off script, but I'm just, giving y'all a visual. Get the book.
Like
It's gonna.
Lulu from Paid in Full.
Yeah, if you ever watched Paid in Full and there was a dude, Lulu, and when you walked into his apartment, that was her apartment.
Yeah.
So I don't think she would have, if she would have never started using,
Right.
she probably would have never stopped doing that.
No.
We'd have carried her in.
She was the first one to get us name brand
Yeah.
handbags.
Yeah.
Because I
Not
made,
glamorized
they
it.
made sure I had everything, and I think I put this in the book. I didn't know what size clothes and underwear I wore till I was in treatment. Because they bought everything for me and hung it on the walls, and I would go, I want a blue dress, and I come home and there's 10,000 blue dresses hanging around, or all the underclothes or whatever it was I wanted, and then I would give them money, and and it wasn't until things started progressing that I knew I had a problem.
Yeah.
But by that time I was
It was too
already
late.
I was already in. I knew for a long time. That commercial that comes on and says, "Do you have a drug problem?"
Uh-huh.
Well, I would see that commercial and I would go, "You don't need to call that number." Do I need? Because what happened was packages would be delivered to me, even though when these other people weren't around, all I would have to do
was get your little dip off and then
but people would bring it even if this other person wasn't around. Remember, we were the major people anywhere. His friends had diamond mines. His friend had gold mines and stuff like that, but the one thing was that I learned, and I know this is really crazy off script, I learned a level of respect in the game. And I was told back then that, shorty, whatever you do, you gonna know how to run anything by what I teach you. And then there was a thing about you don't drink or drug or get high until that person is sitting next to you. And so to this day, if I'm out with somebody, you can't even buy me a soda until that whoever I'm with is buying me.
Because she don't
do
nothing. Let me just say, when she got clean,
Yeah.
she don't drink, she don't eat too many potato chips, she don't do anything in excess. Let's get back to the script. So you talk about relationships being complicated and how an unhealthy one is detrimental. Would you agree that the first unhealthy relationship you had was not the cocaine or Mr. Big Bang Hank, but the one you had with yourself? And
Oh,
why?
absolutely. Because I didn't know who I was. See, you got to remember, I was 19 when I started hanging with them.
Okay.
So I didn't know who I was.
You was a kid.
I was a kid. So I never formed a relationship with myself, right? I became who he was. And I do not blame this man. In his mind, it wasn't nothing. It got to a point where this man was trying to figure out how to move me in his house with his wife, so he could take care of me and her. Come on now, that's crazy.
That's insanity.
I was in dynasty land, seriously. But in his mind, I was this porcelain doll that needed to be taken care of. And that was where I'm like, man, come on, this ain't finna happen.
Yeah.
But the relationship that I had with myself never formed.
Gotcha.
I never had one because all of a sudden I'm grown into this adult relationship.
To like adult relationship with this married man that had loads of money, who taught you how to make loads of money.
And taught me discipline, taught me respect, and taught me the game of the street. That's why when people step to me and I go, ooh, that's a street move.
Gotcha.
You know, because I can pick up on certain things, and I may not say it all the time, but to me, you know, I be like, that's not a money move right there. That's a stupid move.
Okay.
You know, so I'll lay back in the cut and I don't say anything.
Yeah.
But I'm still that girl from the street. That song, Jenny from the Block, I am still Jenny from the Block. And a lot of times I have to catch myself. Because I be like, ooh, where's the nearest ditch for her? You know, because that's just real talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to pull no punches. Until you know who you are, you can't have a relationship with nobody else.
And you can't fix yourself until you know who you are.
So what do you say to the young man, young woman who are going through something and are considering using? Where do you tell them to go so that they don't make that decision, especially if, and they may not even be aware that they have an addictive personality.
Most people don't even know they do.
Mm-hmm.
But what I tell a person that is going through, first of all, you got to have a little talk with Jesus. And I mean a real stump down, I can't do this no more, my life is on the line, Lord, what did I do? Because at the end of the day, I can tell you to go find your nearest sister, pastor, brother, but if you and God can't get it together, because I wasn't ready until I said, God, I just can't. I surrender.
Yeah.
And those words, I surrender, are powerful, man.
Yeah.
You know, I am blessed to know a lot of people in the recovery community, you know, and so there's a lot of facilities around they can go to, but where is your pastor?
Yeah.
You need to go to the nearest church and throw yourself on the altar and tell that pastor you need some help.
If y'all know anybody that needs help, or if you need help, if you're out there looking and you need help, inbox me.
Please.
I'll keep it confidential.
Please.
I'll pass you on to her, or I'll inbox you information that you need.
Please.
Because nobody needs to struggle with that by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought about something when I was reading a book, because I remember when you moved here, and let me just sidebar. I remember when my parents moved here.
Right.
My dad was an addict, full-fledged heroin addict, and the reason my mom lives here and the reason we all ended up being a community here is because they lived here first. They moved here first in the 80s. And they moved here not because he wanted change.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes, and the question I was going to ask, do you agree that addicts are runners? Most of the time, they don't want a change. They don't want change. They just relocate.
That goes several ways. One, an addict goes with an addict.
Yeah.
Right? So wherever you go, the addict is going.
Yeah.
But most addicts...
Oh, that was good.
Know,
did y'all get it? You packing your addict, your addict is with you. And if you ain't ready to change your addict, y'all going together.
You just gonna move around the corner, but you going with you. And the other thing is that we are runners. My spirit is a runner.
Gotcha.
You know, because it's real quick for me to go, oh, boo, bye. You know, most people know I'm not married, so I go, okay, you got 10 more seconds and you're gone. Because I don't know how to stick and stay. You know, I'm really shocked on where my life is now because it's easy for me to dismiss you. Because that's what I did. I dismissed people. Yeah. I didn't think much about people. But an addict is an addict is an addict. So I got here by telling them I wanted to move here to be with them. But the thing is, I took a guy's 5-6 kilos of dope and I ain't have no choice but to come here. Let me just say that.
All right.
I took his kilos and I knew he couldn't do nothing because he knew the people I was with. Mm-hmm. So he was afraid of them because I remember one time, and I'm going to tell the story, I went to Illinois to hang out. East St. Louis is where everybody hung out in.
Right.
I got up and went over there to hang out, and I get out and had, y'all know I wore 10 pounds of jewelry.
Oh my God.
Like, literally. And I got these two guys who are going to rob me. Mm-hmm. And the guy pulled a gun to rob me, and the other guy said, oh my God, that's little, so-and-so's woman. Oh, please. And I remember what they looked like by the time I got back, and he was like, what was you doing over there at 1 o'clock in the morning? Who was it? Well, they found them in the bottom of the building, and rats had been eating them all night. That's the life I come from. There's no skid. That is the honest to God truth. So when I tell you that I came here thinking that, well, I'm going to go down here, and ain't nobody going to find me. Well, I found me. Because I came here. I said...
it got hard when you got here because you didn't have that security blanket anymore.
But then I met...
A, B, C, D, and E, and F, and G.
That was just as big.
Yeah.
Because, see, an addict, we look like, the girl that I am, it's almost like we got on our forehead. Oh, she get down.
It's how you carry yourself.
Right? And I'm streetwise. So I'm like, so what's up with you? Or just like, no offense to the strippers, on your forehead, you might as well have stripper.
Got you.
Or the church girl or whatever.
Or the it girl.
Or your sheet around the way girl. Because we carry ourselves in a certain way that we attract those kind of people. So the minute I got here and attracted the same kind of person,
You attract who you are.
it was like
when we talked about self-esteem, you attract. If you keep getting in a bad relationship, you can't blame the other person. You attract who you
in
are.
my addiction, I cannot blame anybody. I keep saying it. I don't blame anybody because my life was what it was. That's the journey that God gave me.
Was there a thing? Was there something traumatic that happened that created the addict or triggered the addiction?
No, nosy. I'm gonna tell y'all for all these people. I'm just telling you, guys. I didn't. Well, we got a whooping.
Curiosity.
Yeah. Now we got a whooping. Probably more than I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? But by God's grace and mercy, I was never sexually molested. And that is some people's story. But my story was I wanted to hang out with the big boys. I saw what they was driving. I saw them wise money. I was like, boo, I got to have it. I was like, that's real talk. I mean, and that's why when my life changed, I had to tell him, this is not your fault. I was living here and married to my first husband. I've been married a couple times. That's another story. And he was still knowing everything that was going on here and saying, oh, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. He left you and that baby. I'm going to kill him. So he had people down here watching me. That I didn't know about.
So you thought you could run, but you really wasn't running.
I wasn't. He always said, you would never be out of my view. I would make sure that you're always safe. Until finally I had to go home and say, this has got to stop. I cannot come back here on the weekends. I cannot do this. God has changed me. And he never tried to get me to use again. When he found out what was really going on, he was devastated.
Okay.
He was devastated, right? But you have to remove yourself from those circles. You cannot stop getting high and still hang around with folk getting high. What the world?
You can't. If I'm free of Shipleys, I can't keep going in there for my friends for breakfast.
No, you cannot.
Eventually, the Shipley gonna catch
They
me.
say you keep going to the barbershop, you're gonna get a haircut.
Woo! You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because my next question is this. I like the way you described addiction as a mental prison cell.
Yeah.
So my question is, how did you finally get clean and sober? How did you get out your prison cell?
You know, it's so amazing and God is so good because, they all know the story. Get the book. My babies here found me and they took me to my sister. And when I went to treatment, I was only in treatment, 7 days? 7 days. It was like the light bulb came on. I was like, okay, I'm cool. I'm good. I don't want to do this no more. Just that reprieve for 7 days, God ministered to my spirit, and I have not, by God's grace and mercy, found it necessary to relapse. But I was good. I was like, okay, well, gotta get a job, gotta get a car, gotta find an apartment. Okay, I'm ready to live. Because I knew the bad part. I had gone to the lowest of the lows if anybody can go. So get the book, you'll hear about it. But I knew. I didn't need to be beat over the head. Yeah. I knew. And then I had the blessing to go to an outpatient program at Riverside Hospital, which is no longer there. It was your choices. And this is the cold piece. That was an experimental program. It did not last very long. Okay. And there was so many of us. And I remember them saying to us, only 3 of y'all gonna make it. Yeah. And then I remember them saying, well, I went to my first meeting, I think it was, and they said, most people don't make it till they relapse. I remember in the meeting saying, I'll be back, y'all. I'm going to relapse so that I can stay clean. They're like, no, fool, that's not okay. So be careful what you say in the meeting. But I knew I didn't want to live like that anymore.
So here's a question. That moment from being on drugs to recovery is just a glimpse. It's not something that you think about. It's literally just,
for me, it was just a snap of your finger.
Snap of your finger and you decide, I want to change.
It was
sick and tired
not
of being sick and
anything
tired.
I needed to sit and ponder on. You know, because the reality is that by the time they found me, I was already trying to be found. Let me just say the truth. I was already.
I said that.
Yeah, I was already ready to be found. But you see, most of us are too afraid to live and too afraid to die. We don't have enough courage to live life the way we're supposed to, but we're too big of wusses to really take ourselves out. Most people, and this is for me, I was too big of a wuss, but I needed to do something to draw attention. Say, y'all, help, I need some help.
So,
and most people are crying out for help.
I remember the cry out.
You know, they are crying. But for me, Tina's right. It was like, okay, next.
I never told you about this dream. I'm going to share it with you. So, grandmama died, and I was laying in the bed, and I didn't realize I was asleep. And I got a phone call. So I get up out my bed. Now, I'm thinking that I'm awake, but I'm asleep.
Right.
I get up out the bed, and I answer the phone, and it's my Aunt Julia.
Right.
And she was like, hey, somebody want to talk to you. And so I said, yes, ma'am. And I said, hello, I just want you to know that I'm okay. And I said, Grandma? Now, she had already passed. She had passed maybe about a month.
Right.
And I was like, hey. She said, I'm okay. And I said, yes, ma'am. And when I turned around, she was standing at me face to face.
Right.
I'm still holding the phone.
Right.
She was like, I'm okay.
Right.
I'm okay. I'm okay. And it wasn't until I hung the phone up and I said, oh my God, Grandma said she's okay. And I go sit on the steps.
Right.
And then the dream changed, and it's you. And you had this long, beautiful hair. And I didn't know that as a kid you had this long, beautiful hair. But then you was going through this firestorm and your look changed. And you were on a horse. And you looked like you were just struggling and suffering. But then when you came out the other side, you looked young and vibrant again. And that's when it hit me. What they say my aunt is going through, she is going through. But she gonna make it out on the other side. I'm 15 years old. I shouldn't understand that.
Right.
But what I see today, I already knew that at 15. Because God had revealed it to me.
You know, one of the things I tell, and I say in the book, and I believe this with all my heart.
Let me read it, because I got it.
Yeah.
She said, I believe that when my mother was giving birth to me, God whispered in her ear and said, Margaret, I'm going to have to use this one. And that's going to require taking her to the lowest of low. I'm going to have to let her slither on her belly. She's not going to be worth being around, and you're not going to like that it's going to look like she has lost her mind. But when I get through with her, trust me, it'll be all worth it.
I believe that.
Can I say something before she answers? So I didn't know that you or my dad were addicts.
Right.
I didn't know you were an addict until you came to visit here one time.
Right.
And a friend of mine, you had asked me, you know, I need to get some dope. And I'm like, oh, she wants some marijuana.
Right.
And he was like, no, that's not what she wants.
Right.
And it didn't change the way I looked.
Right.
I viewed you.
Right.
But I didn't know if you thought that I looked at you different.
I don't think I ever thought that.
But from that moment, our relationship changed.
Right.
For a while.
Before you got
See, now for me, I always knew that you guys had my back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I knew that. And I knew, and there wasn't too many. Well, first of all, it wasn't no secret I was sick. That wasn't no secret, right?
You know you lied.
It was, you know, well, dope fiends lie. That's what we do. We lie. What do you expect, you know? But for a person, see, one of the things, it's different for me. I look at recovery in levels of the type of people, of the type of situations. Some people don't have anybody, man. And that really, because I was blessed to have everybody to rally around me, and then I sit back and go, oh my God, I know people that don't have anybody to rally around them. And even though I was slithering and crazy, y'all was like, yeah, she crazy, but that's how ain't it.
I didn't know, but I didn't know.
Right. Didn't know the degree.
I didn't.
She didn't know
at all.
I didn't know at all. First of all,
y'all, I'm sorry, y'all. We have a family moment here.
So he didn't know either.
Well, Ruby just told me he didn't know.
I knew.
We didn't know. I just thought that you
Hoopy
were
was like
the celebrity hood chick that because I'm telling you, like at 10, I had a Louis Vuitton crossbody bag that she had given me, and all I kept saying was, we could have spent this on the Cabbage Patch.
You know, I remember Hoopy saying to me, and Hoopy is my other nephew, saying, "Man, I did not know."
Did not know.
You know, he said, "I just thought you had a lot of money."
And I guess because I was the oldest.
Yeah.
And like I told me and T Talk after my dad passed last year, and I was like, I recognized him as an addict at 9.
Yeah.
It was just my intuition.
Yeah.
I never seen him use.
Yeah.
But I knew something
know.
was different.
Some
and
things you just
and
know.
you know, like the Say No to Dope thing that came out when I was in elementary school, and they would show the different versions of people getting high, and they would show the man in the bathroom. He go buy stuff. He go in the bathroom.
Come out very different when he
But
come
they showed you like step by step how to.
And I don't know if that was good either.
That was a bad thing.
That was
but
good.
I'll never forget, my dad was in a halfway house. My mom worked at a nursing home, and he took her to work, and then he took me with him to the Blue Mire. And I was in that car.
That was the projects back then, yeah.
I was 9, and I knew I was in that car a very long time. Yeah. And when I was sitting in that car, I kept thinking about that film that they were showing in school. So fast forward, he never came out the bathroom, and I knew. He went to the bathroom and he never came out.
Yeah, and those are what that says is that there in the world of addiction, there are so many phases.
Yeah.
There are so many nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that people do to try to maybe hide, and after a while they can't hide anymore, because an addict is stumped down what we really are. It gets to a point where you can't hide.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you can't hide from yourself.
You can't hide from yourself.
Right.
But I think because I think the understanding that I have for you, see, God makes no mistakes.
Yeah.
My mom could have been whatever she wanted to be. She was a genius. She was brilliant.
Yeah.
But she married this man and had to go through this process,
right.
which in the end, she ended up being a nurse for addicts.
Yeah.
And she was saving people daily. That was her journey. But because we lived with him and went through things with him, when it happened to you, I had a sense of understanding.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I had a sense of second chance, third chance, 1,000 chance.
And some of us don't in this process, we lose our lives.
Yeah.
Right? And so for all of us that make it through, you know, it is nothing but by the grace of God. Because there's so many of us, and I say us because I am yet to pick up anything. Was in the hospital during the hurricane, and my sister was with me, and they were trying to give me morphine.
That was me,
right? Yeah, and so my sister said, so Rhonda said, "Okay, give her one drip, she'll be all right." I'm like, "But I'm in pain." But then I realized, "Whoa, fool, you can't, because I have an addiction. I can't go in the store and buy one black dress. I'm gonna buy 20 because my brain don't work." Y'all remember the time when we were off school? I was in Ocean's trying to buy Dante's school clothes, and I had to call y'all because I can't do choices.
Gotcha.
See, I am really real on who I am. Too many choices, I'm gonna freak out. I was in the store, had to call them, standing in the middle of the aisle crying because I couldn't figure out what to buy.
Right.
My disease will kick in at any moment and say, "You're gonna make the wrong decision." Mm-hmm. Right? So sometimes I'll find myself at home in a fetal position crying, needing to make a decision, but I can't because my disease thinking will say, "You finna mess up."
Yeah.
Oh, here you go.
Because I think, like, off script again, when things happen to her and people see her cry, they make fun of her, but what her stress is, I know the type of person I was, and I know I can't get angry like everybody else. I have to learn a discipline on how to handle you, because if I don't, that might take me back to my old lifestyle.
And it's going to be bad.
Well, I mean, I have to tell y'all, this will make y'all laugh, because she is, okay, I'm going to give you 5 feet tall. That's as much as I'm going to give her.
She's giving me 1 inch. But
I'm going to give her 1 inch. And I was in high school, and I was dating a basketball player. And he was, I guess, like, he made me cry in front of everybody in the gymnasium. Mm-hmm. And she picked me up from school, and she had on a workout bra and some workout biking shorts, right? So my auntie always been fine down. And I came out, I was crying, and she said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it." She was like, you better tell me now, or me and you gonna have a problem. So I said, well, this guy made me cry, and she got out all 5 feet. I'm giving her the inch because she on them Jane Fonda socks, y'all.
Yeah, back in the day.
And that boy never talked to me after that because she said, you'll be in Seaman's shoes if she have another problem and won't nobody be able to find you. So and to this day, I have not had a conversation. So she's definitely.
I have to be careful.
She's evolved
as a person.
Yeah. But that street chick still is there because
and you know,
if you mess with her,
people. You are so right because I will cry.
Yeah.
Really quick.
We got questions
because I know
just people watching.
You know, I will sit and cry. Because I know still what I'm capable of, unfortunately. Right? Unfortunately, because some of the people that I know are still not far. Mm-hmm. Right? I can still put my hands on people. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, it was so easy. I remember, Lord have mercy, I remember riding around with this guy's body in the trunk of my car. He was in the trunk of the car, and I was like, when y'all gonna get him out the trunk of the car?
He was thinking.
He rolled around that guy in the trunk of my. I remember in the juke joint standing there, and Big Money said, "Move out the way." The guy came in, said, "What's up, man?" And back in the day, everybody hugged, and it was like, and they politely put him out in front of the juke joint, and like nothing ever happened.
And I think people think this is the only stuff that happens on like Empire.
No, this was my life. This was chicks I didn't know, and you pissed me off, and I put cocaine down in your drink, and next thing you know, you on top of the table shaking a tail feather because you don't know you high.
I'm gonna go off script to help somebody.
Yeah.
So to the daughters, we not just the daughters and the sons, and what signs can they look for to know that they are in trouble? Because a lot of parents, I'm sorry, they're in denial about their children or their loved ones. And it's one wrong decision that can change your life forever. My dad started getting high at 13. That was way before I was thought of. And somebody got him high.
Right.
And he smoked weed and stuff, but when
the person shot him up because he was scared of needles.
Right. And I saw that. I used to say that all the time. The crew I ran with was like this: if I ever catch you with some heroin, I'm gonna kill you. Mm-hmm.
Because they said that's the lowest of the low drugs.
I remember being in the house, and this is real talk. Being upstairs, they were downstairs doing, and this is real street, y'all, doing buttons. Buttons is when they take the pill capsule, take the pills out, and put heroin on one side and coke on the other, and mix it together. That's called speedball. Yep. I remember being upstairs, and the heroin was so loud in the house that he came and said, "Shorty, get in your car, go." Yeah. Because it gets in your pores. See, I mean to tell y'all hanging around some people doing some stuff, and it gets in your skin, it's in your pores. He was like, "Go." He can't say, "Let's go." You got to go, right?
You don't even have to be a user if you in the atmosphere.
But if you are going through something, if you are going through something, one of the things you don't need to do is be around people that are using. If you got some issues going on in your life, and your girl, I'm gonna use some street line. Your girl is in her purse, and she got her dollar bill wrapped up with her cocaine in it, and you hanging out with her, and she go, "Girl, just go and take this. It ain't gonna hurt nothing." It's gonna hurt something. Because that feeling of euphoria that you gonna get, you gonna want it all the time.
And you'll never be able to get it again.
And you'll never be able to get it again. And I'm gonna tell you something. I could never get it. I taught myself how to smoke dope. I taught myself how to cook cocaine and make rock cocaine.
And that's before rock cocaine was out.
Because what we had was big stuff. See, this little stuff they doing on the street now, baby, and trust me. But going back to Mimi's question, when you got a loved one, we're not even talking about your son or your daughter. We're talking about your mom or your daddy.
Come on.
We're talking about your granny these days, because I'm a granny.
Yeah.
We're talking about that person that you love, and yet you keep seeing their behavior go up and down. They elevated. One minute they up, the next minute they down. One minute they happy, the next minute they sad. When they hanging out with their friends, they happy, but when they come home with you, they laid up like this, don't want to be bothered. You gotta watch those behaviors.
I've
you
seen
gotta
that.
watch.
I live that.
You gotta watch when your kid, and I'm just finna get real cut and dry and honest with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I have a son. He ain't perfect, right? And I live with the behaviors of my son, and I've also asked myself, is it my fault that this kid has his issues? See, that's what I live with. Did I do this to him?
I don't think you did. I'm gonna tell you what I think.
No, I don't think I did. What I did was, he was the only child, and I spoiled him rotten because I was trying to overcompensate for his biological father not being there. That's what I did.
And not only that.
Hold on. This is good, actually. Well, let's stay here.
Okay.
Do you discuss with your children about what you went through in the past? This is what this person is asking.
I did. My son knows, because I can't hide who I was
or who you are.
And yet I'm gonna be this upright mama. You know, now I gave him the book. I said, this is about, he's always known I've been in recovery. His biological father was at one time, God bless him, and his adopted father who raised him has, 29, 20, 30 odd years clean, right? So he knows the world of recovery.
Right.
Sometimes our children know, but you can't save them from their destiny.
Yeah.
See, sometimes we got a journey that you got to go through.
Yeah.
As much as I don't want him to have to go through it, I know at the end of the day, as we sit here, there's some consequences that he got to go through.
Well, I'm going to touch on what my pastor preached today. He said, just because you saved don't mean you're not going to have trouble. Just because you saved don't mean you're not going to go through some things.
Right.
Just because you saved don't mean you're not going to be attacked. And the devil knew you were strong and stern in your recovery. And you was on a path.
Yeah.
And you couldn't shake and you couldn't waver. So he said, I can't get to her that way.
Yeah.
I'm going to test her son.
I
I'm going to go through her
that.
son. And I'm going to see if by going, because you save lives daily.
Yeah.
Let me just say, she, with the Women's Health and Fitness Center, she saves lives. It's a ministry in there.
Right.
They pray in there.
Right.
They'll stop working out and just get on their knees and pray in there. It's a different type of atmosphere, and it's for women only. And so the devil knows.
He knows.
Just like God knows your destiny, so does Satan.
Yeah. I've always known, for a long time ago, I've always known that this is how he was going to get me. Or at least he thought he was. Because I'm finna tell y'all, I love my kid, and they lock him up and throw the key away, but I'm not getting high.
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. God knows I love him. I love him. I love him. But his story is his story. Let him write his book.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes what we do as parents, we try to shield. Because I'm one. I've tried to shield him from having to have some heartbreaks. But what happens is I still have ultimate heartbreak.
Yeah.
Because God is saying, can you please get out the way?
Yes.
Can you
Can you say that again to the people? Because that's big.
Yeah. He's
Quit trying to do God's job and just let God.
But one thing that I do know, and I'm going to say this to any parent, is that that's still my child.
Yeah.
Right? So I might have an issue with him and talk to my nieces and them, but I'm not finna call y'all and talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because that ain't what you do.
Yeah. Well, I here's the one question that I have.
Any more
and
questions?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty
Y'all have
sure
questions, send them in.
the viewers have
Got
this
like
kind of
20.
question too. How do you, within yourself, find the place to forgive yourself for the things that you've done and not carry around the burden that your children try to put on you? Because there was a comment that you said, the person that got you into it, you didn't blame them.
Right.
But as a parent who is now clean and in recovery, how do you not carry that?
Right. You know what? First of all, in recovery, when they say one day at a time, that is probably the truest statement you can have.
Okay.
One day at a time, I forgave myself for the things that I did. And for a long time, I blamed myself. But now get this. This is a hit. See, I was clean when I had my son.
Right.
Yep.
I remember that.
So I have to wake up and go, hold on.
He didn't live
living
that
right.
life.
He don't know nothing about this. But I do believe in generational curses. I believe in curses. I do, and I believe that somewhere in there he started doing this for several reasons. One, don't you know who I am? Because his biological have that attitude. Don't you know who I am? So I can do anything I want to do, right? And the other is, ain't that she gonna fix it? She gonna fix it, right? So I stopped blaming me a long time ago.
Yeah.
Cause I kept saying, hold on, I work how many jobs? How many cars have you had since you was 16? And I said, oh no, boo, this ain't on me. I'm not fighting this. You know, I'm not riding this horse with you. This ain't about me.
There you go.
You know, because you made a conscious decision.
Yeah. And
Just like I did. I made a conscious decision to get low.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. Be careful if you see your child. Pay attention, and not just your parent, like not just your kid. Like she said, your parent. Pay attention to behavior, because when behaviors change, that's a sign. People act out for attention, but those are signs.
That old guy was we used to say this, and I use this all the time. He say, "Shorty, you changing in the middle of the road on me. Don't change in the middle of the road on me." He said, when you see somebody change in the middle of the road, something going on. I live with that today. I always say, why they change in the middle of the road? Something ain't right.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta be mindful of relationships and people you around, because those people, we put a lot of trust in people. But when people start changing in the middle of the road on you, oh no, my horns go up.
You know what I like? I like this report right here. Now this is when she is being truthful and honest with herself. It don't get no realer than this. She said, now this is where it gets scary, but I must stand in my present truth. I would love to stay parked in the lifestyle because it was intriguing. When I say the lifestyle, I mean the dope game without the addiction. This is sad to say, but confession is good for the soul. The flip side is the lifestyle. It was the lifestyle that didn't like me. So what you saying is, if you wouldn't have never started using, you probably wouldn't have never stopped dealing.
I'm going to tell y'all the honest God truth on everything I love. Had I not got addicted, I'd still be slinging dope right now. I'm just going to tell you the truth. Because I started figuring out, and he taught me. So if he made $10,000 that day, I got $5,000. If I came home and I had $200, I gave him $100. If I flew out of town and I came back and he had $50,000, I got $25,000. I'm just telling you the honest God truth. I figured out who the people were. I figured out how to make it. I figured out how to do the whole thing. But the game changes when you use.
Yeah.
The game changes, and it's supposed to, because ain't nothing supposed to stay the same. That is not a lifestyle that you're supposed to live.
They say don't get high on your own.
No, that is not a lifestyle that you're supposed to be in. That is not something that God sat down and came up with.
Well, do y'all have any questions? Do y'all have any comments?
Good stuff. Angela said, good stuff. I went through similar things. Then she said, oftentimes the kids won't touch it, meaning, I guess, the drugs. If they've gone through hardships, they don't want to have anything to do with it. And I guess some kids are that way.
Yeah, because we was that way.
Yeah.
I realized.
You guys were so blessed, because I'm going to tell you, almost every one of my people that I know, that I got clean with, it, I know, their children are suffering.
Yeah.
And so you guys were blessed.
Well,
and there are some that haven't, though.
We made a conscious decision to try to break the generational curse.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to say I never smoked weed. I'm not going to say that.
Right.
And I have a drink every now and then. But I saw my dad go for... And let me just say, my dad was a handsome man.
Yeah, he was good.
Very talented. If you think Montina Maisha can sing, you don't even know what singing is if you never got to hear my daddy sing.
He can sing. But that does show you what the dope do to you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
It robbed him of his gift.
It took away his gift, because he knew he still had that talent.
Yeah.
And in his mind, he was still the best singer ever. But what happened was the dope said, oh no, I got you.
Well, this is what he told me. He said, when I first, because my dad sang in a group, they almost got signed at Motown. But he said when he would first get high, because he had started getting high, but when he got into it, because he was a dealer too, when he would go on stage, there was a euphoria. He thought he could do anything. And he said he knew the moment where he didn't have the dope had him. And he stopped singing because it brought back too many memories of his
did
lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
once he got clean.
Mm-hmm.
So he would sing every night and it would be kind of cracky, but it was nothing like the purity of his voice.
Yeah, it's a
And
drug. The drug
I know on that side of the family that a lot of his brother's kids struggled.
Mm-hmm.
We made a conscious decision
Right.
that we didn't want to live like that because
Right.
we knew what it looked like, we knew what it saw. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be real and transparent. When I got married,
Yeah.
love my ex-husband, he was a wonderful man, we're friends, but I remember at our rehearsal dinner some unsavory people came in the
Right.
house and I knew that look.
Right.
And I said, oh, ships and sailors.
Well, one of the things that you have to remember about the disease of addiction is that there's so many people, families that are suffering.
Yeah.
And so many, we don't know that side of the family, the whole story.
Yeah.
Because there's always, most of the time, I was blessed with, there's some underlying, some undercurrent
Yeah.
stuff going on.
Yeah.
And when you start talking about the disease of addiction, I always pray that people find a therapist to, if they're clean and they're still struggling with some areas of their life, because
Sit
it
down
will
with
bring
somebody.
up some old behaviors.
Yeah.
You may not drink and drug, but you might, you might be stealing. Or
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
might be cheating on your husband
Yeah.
or your wife, or you might be doing anything to replace.
That addiction.
Right,
Get
because
high.
you need something to take you to
The
another.
rush.
Yeah,
The rush.
yeah.
The rush. of
And
it.
that was one of the things that was hard for me. It wasn't hard. It was like, whoo, this is different.
Yeah.
I'm used to that all over the wiry, all over the place, and it was gone. And so a lot of people, you see us drink coffee, they smoke cigarettes.
I remember
they
those days for you.
Yeah, they overindulge in something else.
Because we would always say she clean, but her behavior's still crazy
Yeah,
as hell.
it took me a long time to level out.
So your behavior.
yeah,
I would
Yeah.
never forget, and then I'm gonna let y'all go because we don't want to hold you, but how I used to worry about you when you would go off.
Yeah.
Or I would worry about you when you would go with a friend.
Yeah.
And I remember one day talking about, oh my God, I ain't worried about her no
I
more.
remember how you guys would have parties and I would come, y'all would go, okay, you been here long enough, time to go. Because, your friends were drinking and stuff like that, and I would just come because I knew, when I made up my mind, but they were like, okay, grab your plate, okay, we'll see you later, you know, and that's okay. And that's okay. That
I remember
people do that.
I finally realized she could go to Vegas with us and we be turning up and she just be sitting and everybody will taste her soda before she drank
And
it.
we still-
and we
And
still
do.
we still
And
do
if
that.
Toya and them are on, they still do that. Whenever I go somewhere, they're like,
We
let me
do
drink
that because her life
Yeah.
is important to us.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, your son's life is important to
Oh,
us too.
absolutely.
And he is
Absolutely.
definitely in our prayers. And we know just like you got a story, he got a story.
He got a story. He got
Yeah.
a story, and it's gonna be so amazing.
Yeah.
And I always look forward to the ending of
Yeah.
stuff because sometimes the middle of it can be real grungy, but the end of stuff, God be suiting up and showing up every time.
Well, the great thing is that one day the two of you, and as you were speaking,
Yeah.
God is so amazing. The two of you will stand next to each other
Yeah.
and help people
Right.
with the with addiction.
Exactly.
People are asking where they can get the book, and then also someone said, what are your thoughts about marijuana being legalized? If we try to educate addiction, how can we if it's legal?
First of all, the book can be found at Amazon or at www.felicia.org or at the Women's Health and Fitness Center, which is 13645 Murphy Road. My thoughts on legalizing marijuana, I don't approve. That's just for me. Because, I've seen what it's done to people. And yeah, on the flip side, it helps people and it's medical. But for everybody that I know, it has been harmful.
Okay.
Right? And so, again, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just telling you about my disease. I'm telling you about the people that I know that started smoking marijuana. And to this day, they think they functioning and they're not.
Okay.
Right? But however, we know there's a medical issue to that. That's something that each individual need to pray about in their own life. But if you smoking weed and can't get me to work on time, and you 60 years old.
Now, I want to know who asked about the book.
Michelle Cooper. asked about the book.
Sissy asked about the book?
Sissy gets a book.
Okay.
That's our sister.
We got 2 books.
Yeah, Sissy can get a book.
I'll send you one. Anybody else out there want a book? Click like real quick. Who first one?
The
Click
first
like.
one, first come, first serve.
Like. Oh, they don't want my book?
Yeah, they do. They want it.
Who else clicked it?
No one said anything yet.
Okay, well if you decide you want to, we're gonna give out 2
Oh,
books.
somebody just did something, but okay, what I want you to do is in the comments, real quick, and say I want it.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at this, I see.
Oh, because it's a delay.
Oh, it's a delay. Okay.
Okay. Angela Humphrey Cooper.
Angela, she's from St. Louis too.
Okay.
I went to school with Angela.
Angela, we need you
Thank
to.
you, Angela.
Angela, come to the shop and I'll give you a copy.
So.
Thank you,
And Mickey,
Angela.
I'll mail you your copy.
Thank
and
you,
I'm
guys.
telling you, it's gonna change your life.
Wait a minute. Angie said she did. Kimberly said she wanted one. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you can find the book online.
Amazon.com.
You can find it at her website.
Yeah.
Felicia, Felicia, Lee.org.
And just let me tell you, the
She's the
women's
host right now.
the Women's Health and Fitness Center is a place, ladies. Not if you ever just need some women to rally around you to help you get your life back on track.
Yeah.
This woman is phenomenal. What she did mention is she can clean your credit. She's done it
That's
for
right.
everybody in her family. She does so many different things. So please go by the Women's Health and Fitness Center.
So
you know,
I'm gonna say this: after getting clean and sober, dealing drugs, give them your rundown of how many businesses you've had and just to where you are now. Just give them a quick synopsis
Really quick,
of the road map.
Went back to paralegal school, got my paralegal degree. Harry Collins, a professor there, said, I'm going to teach you something so that you can always take care of your child. He taught me how to restore credit. I started doing that, started the Personal Touch Plus. We also, in Personal Touch Plus, not only did credit, but did bookkeeping and accounting for small businesses. Had a staff, 9, 10 women working for me. Janice Riddell, love you. Went from there, started the Institute of Credit Education, which is a nonprofit I still have. Started a trucking company, PTP Trucking, because my nephew-in-law and my son wanted a trucking company. So, you know, I talked to some good old boys and learned how to do it. Did that until they stopped coming to work. That's another story. Started bodybuilding and powerlifting with John Mitchell. Thank you, John, for all you did.
But sidebar, what made you start working out?
Because I started menopause at 38.
Okay.
And I couldn't control my body. And everybody knew that I didn't want to take any drugs. So he said, I'm going to teach you something. We started working out really, really hard. So from there, I went to powerlifting, hold 5 state records for powerlifting for over 50. Coming up on my 5th year anniversary for the Women's Health and Fitness Center. Step to the Stage, which is another business, teaching women how to go to the stage.
And when you say going to the stage,
which I mean that's bodybuilding, figure.
This is going to the stage.
The evening gown, angel wings, all those things. I just retired. I'm 56. The Women's Health and Fitness Center is not just a gym. It's a facility for women, by women. We have Bible study. We have a therapist on staff. We have STEP classes. We have entrepreneurship programs. And so, yes, my goal is to work with you from the inside out, because there's something on the inside wrong when we can't control urges that we know God didn't want us to destroy our temple. And this is a temple that He gave us. So, you know, a lot of times we need the camaraderie of other women. And when they tell you women don't get along, I'm the first one to tell you that.
That's
I have a gym 40, 50 deep. And when I put on Facebook, mount up, whatever the problem is, we fix it.
Amen.
Whatever the problem.
So when I say you can go from being a troubled soul, you can go from being addicted to anything, you can go from feeling like you're lost and all alone and your world is falling apart.
And I am the health and wellness manager for all the legacy clinics in Texas.
Angie wants to know where it's located.
I'm at 13645 Murphy Road in Stafford, right next to Cash Road, across from the Stafford Civic Center.
Yes.
And just let me say, she is a phenomenal trainer.
Yes.
She has patience beyond compare. Because I'm telling you, I'm a horrible client
Yes,
to
you
train. But she is so loving and still stern at the same time, where you don't think when she turn the corner, you going to get off the treadmill and talk to yourself and listen to it run.
It's a ministry.
It's a ministry for her.
Well, I'm so grateful to have you here.
Thank you
for letting me do this interview. And I want to say this. Well, Snooki, you said you and little Felicia had dreams of being special. Well, you are more than special. You are great, and I'm so proud of you.
Oh, see, I thought I was going to cry, but I made it.
You made it.
Thank you.
I'm
baby.
proud of you, and I'm going to still end it this way, but I usually end it with remember the laugh, remember the love, remember to be the light. But can you start it out with the sobriety prayer? Because people need to know that's where it begins.
God grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So you have to know the wisdom to know the difference.
The wisdom to know the difference. Woo, next week we're going to honor the fathers, baby. Because like I said, men get a bad rap. I had a grandfather that was a father even when him and my grandmother were divorced. He was always at arm's length. We could always grab him. He was stern and he was stingy back then, but he was there. He was at every game that my cousin had. Anytime we had something at church, he was there. So I know what a good father is. My Uncle George, who had his issues, but he was with his wife until he went in the ground.
Yeah.
I know what a good father is. I have a cousin, Greg Hoopy Jones. If you're on here, baby, I love you. He has been taking care of his twins since he was 17, and he has been with his wife since I think 19 or 20. I have a friend, Dorian Johnson, who has been a single parent, I think, since his daughter was 5. And he has been taking care of that little girl since her mother passed. He don't ask nobody for nothing. He does it. And I have friends, who else? This show is dedicated to every man I know who steps up. My friend Anthony Campbell, he has 4 kids. Tony Woods. They take care of their children. I'm gonna have 4 or 5 phenomenal black men on my show. One is a single parent. One comes from a 2-parent household, some may not. But just because society tells us that black men don't take care of their kids. My cousin Dante, he had his baby yesterday at my nephew's graduation. And she was cheering for everybody, not just JJ. We get a bad rap, brothers, I love you. Even though my dad was screwed up, when he was in our... Is you trying to sneak out?
No.
Oh, even though he wasn't there... You know, when he was present. He was present the best way he knew how. So, I want to say, I see your shirt and everything.
Oh, well, it'll be fine. They've seen shirts on this show before.
Remember the laugh. Remember the love. Remember to be the light and always bear good fruit. This is hashtag I'm Just Saying. Get your book. I love you guys.
Bye.
Mwah.
Come on, baby.